Okay, I'm Dan John, danjohn.net, but a great question came up. My life was changed by doing the Olympic lifts. And I'll do a workshop and people like raise their hand after and go, you didn't teach us how to snatch and clean and jerk. And it happens a lot more than you think it would. I was lucky. I met Dick Notmeyer just after I graduated from high school. I showed up at his gym, I weighed 162 pounds. 4 months later, I weighed 202 pounds. 40 pounds in 4 months, 2.5 pounds a week, basically. I thrived off the snatch and clean and jerk because I had such a good base in the fundamentals when I got there. An adult might come to one of my workshops and say, well, I want to learn the Olympic lifts. And the follow-up question always has to be, why? Now, if you want to compete as an Olympic lifter, it's a fun sport. I put it right next to wrestling as the hardest sport emotionally I've ever done. Wrestling, you shake that person's hand and then you fight with them. In weightlifting, they put the bar on the floor and it's your job to put it overhead. So there's very few excuses when you miss. So what I always tell people is this: the Olympic lifts might be part of your package if your push, your pull, your hinge, your squat, your loaded carry, and you do some groundwork, and you have symmetry, you have some strength on all those, you have the necessary mobility, you have the necessary kind of fundamental movements, you have the chance to learn the Olympic lifts correctly, you have maybe some coaching, and then finally the opportunity to go out on the platform that needs to do it. For years here in Utah, sometimes we only have one meet a year, sometimes only 2 or 3. Now it's a lot better. So it's a long-winded question, but it gets to the heart of so many questions. You might have this goal, but the foundation underneath it is what you need to work on first. Of all the things I've ever done in my life to improve what I call my thrive, which would build up your standing long jump, build up your work capacity, build up your explosion and your basic engine, nothing's ever been better for me than the Olympic lifts. I love the Olympic lifts. They changed my entire career. That's why all my education was paid for, because of the Olympic lifts and then throwing the discus with that base. But to just walk in and want to do the Olympic lifts because you saw them on TV, your friend is doing, I would always back off and make sure you check the foundations first and then build upon it. Again, if you want to be a Division I athlete, a football player, or be an elite thrower, you've got to learn the Olympic lifts. But boy, it's better to learn them younger than later. So try to remember that. Foundation first, then let's talk about the O lifts. I'm Dan John, danjohn.net.